everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Northern and Block Podcast. It is episode number 41. It is Monday, March 3rd, 2025. I am your host here at Northern 97, joined with my other host, LeBlock James. LeBlock, how we doing?
We've been better, but let's get it going.
Yeah, let's get it going. We got a big one here today. It is our trade deadline preview. So we're going to be going over all 32 teams in the NHL, what we think they're going to do. We're going to do a tier list. It's going to be a lot of fun. But first off, let's get into the news around the NHL because I think that is definitely worth discussing. There's a lot of it. So there was 3 trades that broke over the weekend, and since we last made a podcast, well, I guess 4. We can get into the other one, but 3 big ones, I would say. We'll start off with the biggest one of them all. Seth Jones was traded to the Florida Panthers with a 2.5 salary retention, along with a 2026 fourth-round pick from the Chicago Blackhawks. In exchange, the Blackhawks got goalie Spencer Knight, a 2026 first-round pick, which will shift to 2027 if Florida does not have their pick. I think there's a condition involving, I think it's Calgary. Or no, not. Yeah, I think it's Calgary with that first-round pick. So, yeah, regardless, it's an interesting move. I mean, I wasn't expecting for Seth Jones to be traded at this trade deadline. I think we specified that well on the pod. I just didn't think it was going to happen. It seemed more like an offseason move to me. But the Florida Panthers are willing to take the risk and take him on for the next 5 years. And, you know, I mean, I don't think it's that bad for Florida, but in my opinion, I think Chicago won the trade.
Yeah, listen, Seth Jones, like, I want to specify this. At this point, I think he's a little underrated because people always assume overpaid means he's not good or overrated.
Yeah.
He's a good defender. He's not a number 1 defenseman by any means, but he's exactly what Florida kind of needed on the back end. You get him at Charles retaining $2.5 million, so you get him at what, $7 million? That'd be $7 million. So
yes.
Like for Florida though, like it's an expensive. I actually think this could be a potential Ekblad replacement.
Yeah, that's what I've been hearing. I mean, Ekblad is expiring along with other guys like Sam Bennett, so I wonder if, you know, bringing in Seth Jones, it might take away the leverage a little bit from Ekblad, where Ekblad was like, oh, who do you have coming up after me? And they're like, oh, we got Seth Jones right here. So nice try with that. So I think that might play a role in it, even though Seth Jones and Ekblad are not the same. But yeah, I mean, I like it for Florida. Again, it feels like they were missing a big name defenseman. I mean, again, you lose a guy like Montour in the offseason, you lose a guy like Ekman-Larsson. It made their D pairings look definitely weaker for sure. They weren't bad, but they were still weaker. And I think making another move definitely makes things worth it because, you know, before then you had like Mikkola on the second pairing and you had Balinskis playing regular minutes, who aren't bad players by any means, but still at the same time, I think you want a more bigger name guy and a guy who you can trust on the backhand there. And Seth Jones is no stranger to playing a lot of minutes of ice time. So if you want to throw him in there to the Wolves, go ahead. I mean, I don't think he's going to be playing as much as he was in Chicago as he will be in Florida, but still, I think it's a good move there. I think it's good for Florida to get another big-name defenseman. Now, looking at Chicago's end, I love this for them.
Yeah,
they get a 2026 first-round pick. They get a 2026 first-round pick and goaltender Spencer Knight, and I think it sets them up great for the future.
Yeah, I like it for Florida. I love it for Chicago.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 100%.
Kyle Davidson cooked with this one. So, and I'm going to say this: like you getting in first off another first round pick, which you could flip that for an impact player, or you can use it. But Chicago already has so many prospects in their system that I would assume it's going to be flipped for a guy to maybe come in and be an impact player for Bedard's sake.
Yeah, that's what I think is probably going to happen. I think like it'd be nice and all to have that first round pick, but that first round pick is likely going to be a later first-round pick unless Florida crashes and burns. And, that, I mean, I don't see that.
I don't like it, Florida crash and burn. But you bring in Spencer Knight, a highly, highly, highly touted goaltending prospect in his draft year. And he has Stanley Cup experience, technically, with Florida.
Technically, I guess.
Very well coached under Paul Maurice, he brings that to the table. You look at Chicago's goaltending right now. I like Arvid Soderblom, but he was definitely not the answer in net for the long-term future.
Absolutely not. I think getting a guy like Spencer Knight is huge. He might be your goalie of the future. He is not that old. He's only 23. Mm-hmm. He's just entering, I would say, is like a goalie prime, or he's not even there yet, honestly. He's on a relatively cheap deal until, next season. And this year with the Panthers, last year was a really rough year for him, had like OCD problems and was in the player assistance program a lot. Not to mention Anthony Stolarz was there, and it was just He was the third string all last year. And this year, though, 12-8-0, a .907. I think that matters, and I think that's very big for the Blackhawks because, again, before then, their future wasn't that great. Like, you had Adam Gajan and, Drew Commesso as your guys in the back end.
Both are struggling. Gajan is struggling mightily in the NCAA, and Commesso is not – he's not having a great year for Rockford at all. So you bring – right. Yeah, you bring in Knight, who is an established. I'd say he's their number one right now. He will be at the Wolves for sure. Knight gives you, and you look at his numbers from not last season but the season before. He put up great numbers as a 21-year-old. So
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, this is their goalie of the future, and you got him for Seth Jones. You're retaining 2.5 because let's be honest, Chicago in the next deal runs for the next 5 or 4 more years of Seth Jones.
5 years.
Yeah, so in the next 5 years, do you expect Chicago to be a Stanley Cup caliber team?
In the next 5 years, probably not. They'll get better and better as it goes along.
I think they'll be a playoff team near the end of that deal, but we still got ways to go. So that 2.5 is not hurting anything on the books.
Yeah, 100%. Now, one thing that I am wondering with this Jones deal is there going to be a goalie that gets moved out the other way for Chicago? I'm surprised there wasn't a goalie involved because now you look at the Blackhawks goalie depth chart. They have 4 goalies who have all played NHL games this season. Spencer Knight, as they just acquired. Peter Mrazek, who looked good last year, hasn't been that great this year. Laurent Brossoit, who's been injured for a lot of this season. And then Arvid Soderblom. So I think there's a really big question there of, is there going to be a goalie who's traded at the deadline possibly? Maybe there's a team that wants to pick up a third string. I mean, I think Mrazek in a third string role wouldn't be terrible, but again, I
could see them moving out either. I could see them moving out either Soderblom, or I could see them moving out one of their goalie prospects too.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know though, because again, Brossoit hasn't even played all season, so yeah, Brossoit's been injured. I
totally forgot Brossoit signed with Chicago. I totally forgot about that.
Well, he signed a 2-year deal. He's been injured since the start of the season. It says on his stats that he hasn't played a game this year with Chicago, so he hasn't played all year. It's not ideal whatsoever for a 31-year-old guy, so I wonder maybe if they move on from him, but I don't really know who you could take to move on from that deal. I think it's more likely that we see a guy like Soderblom or one of their prospects get traded. I think right now, though, they're okay with running 3 goalies. There are a few teams that do that in the NHL. The Flyers do it. I know the Hurricanes did it for a couple of years. Again, it's it's very different than Carolina because Carolina had 3 good goalies. Chicago has 1 good goalie and 3 meh goalies. But again, I think that you could see it happen for sure. But yeah, that was something I was thinking about. Anything more on Jones?
Jones, you might see he's had a good year for Chicago, individual wise. So I think you might see maybe he returns to that resurgent play he had in Columbus a few years ago. You don't remember Columbus a few years ago when he was in Columbus, dude was balling out.
Yeah, he wasn't bad. The last year he was in Columbus though wasn't that great, and then Stan Bowman made that probably one of the worst trades I've ever seen. And it looked bad at the time. It looks bad now. And it's good on Chicago flipping what was a disaster for a first-round pick and their goalie of the future. So I give them a lot of props for that for sure. and we will see where that goes. The other trades that happened, the Rangers and the Avalanche collided with a deal, and this one I didn't even really expect. The Avalanche acquired defenseman Ryan Lindgren, who was 50% retained, forward Jimmy Vesey, defenseman Hank Kemp, his NCAA signing rights, in exchange for defenseman Calvin DeHaan, forward Juuso Parssinen, a conditional 2025 second, and a conditional 2025 fourth round pick. I mean, I like this deal for Colorado more than a lot of other people do. Like, Lindgren has been a net negative for the Rangers this year. But I think with the defenseman that Colorado has, maybe Lindgren will play a lesser role and can get back to that defensive style that we know he can play at.
Didn't they just extend Lindgren?
I'm pretty sure
they were talking about extending him because, I'm
pretty sure he's a rental.
But like for the Avalanche, I think they may have slightly overpaid, but
yeah, definitely.
But I don't hate it. You like under Jared Bednar, I could see Lindgren surge. I like Juuso Parssinen as a depth forward for the New York Rangers. I really liked him when he was in Nashville. You get a second round pick out of it. You get it's a strange one though.
It is a little weird. I didn't even see that really coming though, because like I didn't see. I kind of came out of left field. I do think though, like, again, as I said, like, I think Lindgren can really rehabilitate himself, but I do agree the Avalanche did overpay. You probably could have just sent a fourth the other way and not the second. But maybe the second went because they wanted to retain. I mean, I don't know, to be honest with you. So we'll see. Again, like, I'm not 100% sure with that, but that was an interesting thing that we heard. And then, Jimmy Vesey has struggled a lot of places where he's gone. He was okay with the Rangers last year, and this year has just not been it. So maybe you put him alongside McKinnon, he can be like Jonathan Drouin or something like that. But yeah, overall, it's like he has not been great. The Rangers, they get Calvin DeHaan,
Ottawa native Calvin DeHaan.
Yeah, 6 or 7 defensemen. He'll be a decent add there for that second or third pairing. Juuso Parssinen has struggled everywhere he's gone. He's on a 1-year deal. I wouldn't be surprised if we see him overseas next season, just because of how just everywhere he's gone it has not clicked.
But he has the tools though.
He does, yeah. And it just didn't work out in Colorado. It didn't work out in Nashville. And now he's getting probably what's going to be his last chance in the NHL. Maybe not his last chance in the NHL, but definitely his last chance with this season with the New York Rangers. This is going to be
like a tryout for him. Like if he can ball with the Rangers, he'll get a contract next year.
Oh, 100%. We saw Will Borgen get a contract. That's definitely possible. It's just a matter of, is he going to get enough ice time and this and that. But yeah, overall, just hasn't been able to really pan out in the NHL since coming over. And then the second and the fourth, I mean, again, I think you overpaid. It's good on the Rangers for getting more draft capital, as much as everybody hates it. But I think that good on them for getting assets.
I do want to say they're conditional picks. So yes, the second, they get the better of the Rangers or Carolina's pick. So they're probably getting their own pick back.
Yep. And then again, yeah.
And then the fourth round pick, they get the better of Colorado or Vancouver. So they're probably getting Vancouver's pick.
Yeah, most likely. So I think, again, like, it's good asset management there by the New York Rangers, and they do good here on this deal. Yeah, we'll have to see how Lindgren does. And then the other trade that I want to talk about, we'll get into the other one. It's a very small one, but we'll talk about it. The Minnesota Wild acquired forward Gustav Nyquist with 50% retained in exchange for a 2026 second-round pick going the other way to Nashville. Nyquist was traded to Minnesota 2 years ago from Detroit, I'm pretty sure. I think that was
Columbus,
the year. Detroit. Oh, it was Columbus? Yeah. I don't know. He's been on a lot of teams. So, yeah, Minnesota's giving him a second try. He wasn't really that bad when he was there with the Wild in 2023. I think he had like 5 points in 6 playoff games or whatever. But, I mean, again, I don't hate it. He has struggled this year. He's on a decent contract, especially at like the 50% retained. Like, he's only 1.5.
Yeah, I do want to say, I say this very, I'm very critical on this. I'm very critical on this podcast, and I'm going to keep it that way. he's been awful this year. Like, I don't mean to be an ass, but he's been the whole Nashville as a team has not been good this year either. So
Yeah. Well, no, last year for
he
me,
had one of his best years ever last year.
yeah, he had one of his best years ever last year. He peaked at like 35. He is a little bit old, but I think that if he can do remotely what he just did, I think that's great for Minnesota. And honestly, I don't think that he's like, I don't think he's that bad. He has been pretty bad this year, but like I think Nashville as a whole has been horrible. Everything that could go wrong has gone wrong with the Predators. So I think if you put him in a good role with Minnesota, a limited role, and for cheaper, I think he could work out. And it's good by Barry Trotz. He got a second-round pick, even if it is in 2026. That's good asset management. The Preds are just loaded up on draft picks, too.
Yeah, and Minnesota needs bodies. They're dropping like flies.
Yeah, Ericsson's out, Kaprizov's out, amongst others. So
Dean's out.
Definitely need guys there. Yeah, 100%. And then the other trade that I did want to discuss, it's a very minor one, but it was one that my girlfriend said you need to bring this up. Goaltender Ville Husso was traded to the Anaheim Ducks in exchange for future considerations. Good on it. Good on Detroit for getting rid of that 3.5.
All right. I'm going to address the elephant in the room. Pat Verbeek.
No.
What is he doing?
I'm going to stop you there. There was an injury in the American Hockey League. Kale Klang is out for the season, and the goals want to make the playoffs, so they need another goalie, and Detroit's like, oh, okay, take Husso. Even though I could have thought there would have been better options out there, but hey, okay.
What I'm referring to is that Pat Verbeek, every time he he's like a charity case. I don't want to I'll not be nice about this. He's a charity case. Like, oh, Trouba, yeah, I'll tell you. Here's a fourth. Yeah, come on by. Like we'll take your guys. We'll take on the back contract for free, or we'll give you a pick for him.
I don't know. He is a little bit.
Yeah, like Verbeek, I don't want to. I know I thought I'm going on like an old man rant right now, but like,
old man yells at cloud. That sounds like what you are right now.
But like it seems Verbeek thinks he's Yzerman, because Yzerman when he gets guys, he usually gets something back with them. Remember the first Jake Wallman trade, not the second one. We don't need to talk about the second one. The first Jake Wallman trade to get Fabry and Wallman from St. Louis.
Yeah, I mean, we know what he can do, but yeah, I mean, I agree. I think that
but
Verbeek's a little stupid sometimes.
Yeah, but I know Detroit fans over this deal, they were dancing in the streets. Like it's popping off at Little Caesars.
Well, yeah. I mean, my girlfriend was losing her mind because Husso's been terrible, and he was like on 3.5. Even if it is in the minors, you clear up that cap room, like it's huge for nothing. Too. They didn't have to get anything. They didn't have to give anything up.
Yeah, friend of the show, Tim was doing backflips.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it gives a guy like Kosa more options there too.
But here's the thing, though. There's rumors about they want to go get another goalie.
Yeah, that doesn't make a lot of sense to me. What's funny is that, and I'm going to do a Reading Royals reference here, guys. So, first Reading Royals reference in Northern Block history. We currently have Gage Alexander, who's a prospect for the Red Wings, on our team. And we've had him on our team for about a month now, a month and a half. And I wonder if maybe them making this trade means they might want Alexander back because he has not played at all this season, whether it's in Grand Rapids or Detroit or in Toledo. He hasn't played at all. Like they loaned him to us because we've been having goalie issues all year. We had guys dropping left and right in the minors, and he's a good goalie. He's been very good for us. He's only lost, I think, one game. He's like a 9-13. He's backstopped the Royals a couple times to wins. I wonder if it's going to be his time. But I just wanted to bring that up. What were you saying?
I was saying that it could be that they don't think Kosa's ready.
That too. I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing, though.
Yeah, it's not a bad thing. I want to say that Kosa started out the year like hot. He was like one of the hottest goalies in the A throughout the year. Now he's kind of slowed down, but a little bit. Yeah. He was going to slow down eventually, though.
He's still very good.
Yeah. Kosa's very good. He was the first goalie taken in his draft class for a reason. I feel like he could be the backup next year.
I think that's very realistic. I could see them moving on. They probably move on from Alex Lyon to get Husso up and in there and have Talbot.
Lyon's
Because
got
they have
one more
Talbot
year
on a
left.
2-year deal. What?
I think Lyon has one more year left.
No, Lyon.
Oh no,
Lyon
he's out. No. I'm thinking.
Yeah, Talbot's the one who Talbot's the one who has a year left after this one. So I wonder if like they're gonna do it that way and have Kosa come up then. But yeah, I think overall like it's good asset management there by the Detroit Red Wings trying to, move out cap for sure.
Now they have money
Speaking
to go
of
get
goalies-
somebody.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. No, they ain't. I don't really. If you're Detroit, I don't think you should go out and get anybody right now. Anyways, Charlie Lindgren re-signed to a 3-year, $3 million contract with the Washington Capitals. Good deal. You lock up your tandem for like less than I think it was $9 million. Great management there by who's their GM now? I don't even know, but good management there by the Washington Capitals. Their GM is Chris Patrick. Sorry, they changed it from whoever it was before then.
I honestly couldn't tell you. I totally forgot.
But no, good management by them. They got 2 goalies who have been incredible this season locked up. Lindgren's overall numbers like aren't that great, but he's actually been better than the stats say, just because like he doesn't face a lot of shots on the back end.
Yeah, well, last year he was pretty good, but this
he
year,
was good last year.
in the tandem, he's kind of taking a little bit of a step back. But $3 million for a backup goalie, that's not bad numbers.
Well, I mean, you got Logan Thompson on the front end who like looks like he might win he's going to be a Vezina finalist for sure. So yeah, I think it's a good deal there by the Capitals. They make good out with that. Other news, just looking through the Stadium Series was on Saturday. Columbus beat the Red Wings 5-3. LeBlanc, you had something interesting coming out of that Saturday night game that you wanted to point out involving the standings.
Did I?
Oh,
Wait, no, I did.
He's blanking on what he had. Do you remember it, or I'll bring it up for you?
You gotta bring it up. I told. Is it that they're both tied? Oh, it was the most important outdoor game regarding a playoff race.
It was, yes. Well, yeah, definitely for sure, because these are 2 teams that are in a wild card spots right now. They're battling for it. But one thing that I think is really interesting, and a lot of people aren't keeping in mind, is that the Devils are only 4 points ahead of the Jackets now.
And now they've lost Jack Hughes, too.
Yes, they are. The Jackets are coming up on them and fast at that. So that makes me a little bit intrigued for New Jersey and what's going to come for them in the following few in the following couple of weeks here. Because again, like since the calendar year, they are 10-4, which is mediocre at that. They've been pretty mid since the start of 2025. They are in a very good cushion though. They were in a very good cushion, and now Columbus is within striking distance. And I wonder if, the teams below them keep gathering more points and the Devils keep struggling, like the Hurricanes are too. I wonder if like this race might widen even more.
That'd be crazy. If New Jersey falls to the wild card, that would be the craziest thing to happen this year. Because going into the year, we said New Jersey was going to be second, if not first, in the Metro Division.
I think I even said to you, I'm like, what is the possibility of the Devils missing the playoffs this year?
I think I said like less than 2%.
Yeah, we both said it was like very unlikely. Like come on, they have to bounce back, don't they? I don't know what it is though with the Devils. Like, I mean, they did not have Markstrom for a longer period of time. I guess that plays a role. But I mean, they have good records against bad teams. When they play really good teams, they tend to struggle a little bit. I've seen that a lot in this stretch they've been playing.
Yeah,
So,
I would agree with that. Like I've watched a few Devils games the past couple weeks, and like when they play good teams, like it's bad. Like they don't play the way they usually play. I don't know if that's a Sheldon Key, if that's a coaching thing, or if that's just how the team's built. Like,
yeah, realistically, I can't see them falling out of the race. I just can't.
No, I see them falling to the wild card. I can't see them falling outside the wild card though.
Yeah, I think they have to stay in. I'm not even worried about them losing that third spot, but it really is something to keep on looking at because the Blue Jackets do have 2 games in hand. Actually, everybody except for Boston below the Devils have more games in hand than them. So, it is not a great look for the Devils for sure.
But like, if that happens, the wild card race, that like bananas. Like,
Oh, 100%. Well, Carolina's 2 points ahead of
Carolina's
the Devils.
mid too, though. They've been like up and down.
Yeah, and it's not it really does not create a good motive for Mikko Rantanen and possibly him coming back and re-signing. So I don't know. We will see. You see Sorokin was awarded a goal versus Nashville, and
I saw it. I watched the game against Nashville actually.
Yeah, that was. I mean, I saw the clip afterwards, but just shows that Nashville has been an absolute disaster of a season.
Yeah, I know. Like,
it's actually insane.
That's awful. Like, I mean,
that is pretty awful. What was the other goalie goal? There was 2 goalie goals that were scored this year. Hang on.
It wasn't Shesty. It was
No, because Sorokin said even afterwards, he's like, I did it before Igor.
Yeah.
So
I'm trying to. I know who it is.
I can pull it up.
Markstrom?
No, I can pull it up for you in a second. Goalies. The suspense is unreal. I swear it's an option you can look up.
It was Nedeljkovic.
Oh yeah, Nedeljkovic
and Gustafsson.
Yeah, I was gonna say was Nashville. I was trying to think was Nashville one of the other teams that got scored on, but yeah, I 3 times in a season is kind of wild. Even though it was like an own goal, it's still kind of wild. It's happened 3 times this year, especially considering the fact last year and the year before it only happened twice. So it's kind of cool to be honest when you look at that. What else happened in the NHL? There was a report about Erik Karlsson saying that GM Kyle Dubas would trade him in a heartbeat if he could. Another source said that Erik Karlsson's name is out there, but the Pens would have to retain some salary. Karlsson's play at the Four Nations caught some attention, sparking wonder if maybe he's just a bad fit in Sullivan's system, but a deal seems more likely to be made in the summer when the salary cap makes a big jump. We'll wrap this up and then we'll go into the tier list, but do you think Karlsson is going to be done at the deadline?
It's a possibility.
I mean, I said Jones wasn't going to get...
Seth Jones got traded, so I think anything's up for grabs, but Karlsson makes a lot more than Seth Jones.
Not a lot. I think he only makes
he makes 11.5, but San Jose's retaining 1.5.
Yeah, so he's making 10. It's he's not a lot more than Jones. I don't know. If Pittsburgh can retain on him again, it wouldn't be terrible, but
I don't feel like Pittsburgh wants to retain though.
Yeah, that's the other thing. I don't think the Penguins are that open to retaining salary.
But at this point, here's the thing with Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh's going to try and be competitive as long as they have Crosby.
Yeah, for sure. We haven't heard anything about their players they're going to move.
But Chris Letang said it the other day on the other end, we'll see what happens.
He did say that, and I think that's interesting. Not just with Karlsson, with Letang too. I think that's really interesting to see where that could go. Honestly, I got a couple more reports. Actually, I found a few more. The Blue Jackets are close to re-signing Matthew Olivier to a long-term extension, likely 4+ years. Waddell hopes to have it wrapped up within the next 24 hours. So by the time you listen to this podcast, it's likely that Olivier will be signed, but I don't hate it.
Good lockup. Good lockup, honestly. Olivier's a good bottom stick forward. Yeah,
for sure. I think that's a good move. There was also a report that the Blues are asking for 2 first-round picks or the equivalent of for Braden Shen, and this was a real head-scratcher for me. Shen, good luck with that.
Yeah, I know. I think we said, you want what? What?
Yeah, no, you're not getting that much for him.
He's 33.
Yeah, he's 33 and has 3 more years left after this, so he'll be 30. He'll be 36 or 37 when the deal's done. Like, how do you expect? How do you? He's 33 too. Like, you want 2 first-round picks. I get it. He's a good player. He's like second in expected goals on the St. Louis Blues. Sure. You could probably, get some legitimate assets for him. You're not going to get 2 firsts, though. Unless if you retain salary. Like, I mean, again, we're saying 2 firsts like a team's going to give up 2 firsts. I mean, like, retention. Or not retention, the equivalent of a first-round pick. So,
what team would give up 2 firsts for him?
Oh, God, who?
Vegas.
Vegas would, but here's the problem. They don't have 2 first-round picks. So
20, 26, 27. Let's run it up.
Yeah, that's the only one. I think can they move their 2026? Their 2028? Didn't the Flyers trade for a 2028 7th? I don't know. I mean, you could do it, but again, like, for Vegas, it seems like they've already racked up a bunch of former St. Louis Blues anyways, like Ivan Barbashev, Brandon Saad, they're racking up all the former St. Louis Blues. So
they're like the Infinity Stones.
Yeah, exactly. So, was there anything else? I think that's it. Yeah, let's just hop right into the tier list. So, we created a NHL trade deadline tier list where we're going to go through all 32 teams in the NHL and talk about where we think they're going to stay in the standings, whether they're going to buy or sell or anything like that, the players that we think could get traded or they're going to go and try and trade for, and some other stuff involving teams around the trade deadline. So, LeBlanc, you want to go through the tiers?
Yeah, so the tiers are from the top to the bottom. Aggressive buyers, these are teams that fuck them picks, fuck them prospects. We're going all in this year.
Mm-hmm.
These are guys who you should be focusing on now. It doesn't matter about what's going to happen in the future. This is our year.
Yep.
Buyers are going to be teams that they're going to buy, but they're not going to mortgage their future.
Yeah, you might see a couple teams on this list give up a first round pick.
Yeah,
maybe.
but I'm talking they're not going to go their top prospects.
Yeah, they're not going to go all out like that. Yeah.
Mostly stand pat. This team might make a small move or two, or they might just not make any moves at all.
You always see a team. Sorry, go again.
There might be a team that is in the race or doesn't have the assets or cap or money to make a move right now, or maybe a team that's in the race but they don't really believe that they're gonna make the playoffs.
Yeah, you usually see this. There's always a team that mostly stays pat but does make a small move, trades a guy for a 4th round pick or acquires a guy for a 4th round pick. You see it happen every now and then, but most of the time they stand pat.
Sellers are teams that they don't believe they're going to make the playoffs, and they're going to sell off probably their UFAs or the pieces that they can. Just in the race, but not going to make the playoffs.
Yeah.
Fire sale. These are the teams that are just everything must go. No money now. Everything must go.
Yeah, there's not going to be a ton of teams in that column because it seems like there's not a lot of teams that are we're going to sell. But yeah, it seems like that is a realistic possibility there for a few teams in the NHL for sure. Let's get started. Starting off with the Anaheim Ducks. Anaheim Ducks.
I'll go first because I see Ottawa's in the odd numbers, so I guess I'll go first.
Yeah, I know. I don't know why these are in weird order, but anyways,
we hit shuffle on the teams.
Yeah, I guess we did. I guess I did. I don't know. All right,
Anaheim. I don't think they're fire sale, but they're definitely sellers.
Yeah, I would say sellers for sure. I mean, they're not that far away. Realistically, they've had a better season than they've had in previous years. They're out of the bottom 5. I'm pretty sure. I think they might be 6th, but anyways, I mean, they seem definitely better than they were in prior years, and it seems like things are improving. But yeah, if you can trade away the occasional Brian Dumoulin and maybe get a 3rd round pick back in return, you can go down that road. I don't see them making a big move though, unless if something really falls on their lap. But yeah, I think overall for the Ducks, it's more likely we see them trade away a couple of guys. But Yeah, not like insane sellers, but definitely
I've
sellers.
heard there's talk on Ryan Strome, but he has like 2 more years after this year at $5 million. So
Yeah, I heard that too. I didn't really buy into that though because I think that for the Ducks to move him, probably take a lot, in my opinion, because I think Strome has a lot of value to that team, and he's also not really that sexy of an option. But I mean, it is a seller's market this year, so
yeah, I would say their biggest asset too, if they were going to trade, would be Trevor Zegras. But I don't think Trevor Zegras gets moved. We're probably going to see. You could see maybe a guy like Brian Dumoulin get moved, like you were talking about earlier. We could see Jacob Trouba maybe get traded at half retained. I haven't heard anything on Trouba though.
I think that's likely a next year thing, honestly.
Yeah. And John Gibson could be in play.
Yeah, but
I don't buy that. I don't buy that. No,
we have to put his name in there just because it happens every year.
Every year we hear about it. Every year.
Yeah. We'll hear about it every year until it's over with.
Until he does get traded.
Yeah, or if he just retires, which it seems more likely than him getting traded at this point. Detroit. I mean, this is a very weird order. Again, Detroit for me, I think if you're Detroit, like I know there's a lot of people who say they're gonna buy. I think for me, like, you mostly stand pat, in my opinion. What do you think?
I'm gonna say this: Detroit, it has almost 13 million cap space. Like,
you think they're not gonna aggressively buy?
They're gonna buy. They're not gonna aggressively buy, but they're going to buy.
Okay, I'll buy into you putting them into buyers
because
that was terrible.
I can't see Detroit not making more than just a small move. They're probably gonna. I don't think they give up a first round pick this year. I mean, you're gonna see a guy give up like a second. If I look at Detroit badly needs left-hand defensemen.
They do. So maybe we'll see if they go and try and make a move like that. Left-handed defensemen are more common than right-handed ones, though.
Yes, it's weird. Usually the team has the other problem.
Yeah, a little strange. I put them in stand pat just because I don't think like they're gonna make like a serious move.
Yeah, but like when you buy, if you're a buyer, you're not making buyers make serious moves, but not like really they could just make multiple small moves. Like Detroit could make multiple small moves here to bolster the blue line and to get some bottom six help.
Yeah, maybe. So I could see that happening. I think right now though they're out of the selling position, which is pretty wild to think, especially since this team has been in that area for a while.
Yeah, for me, Detroit, I would say if I could put them in the middle of stand pat and buy, I would.
Yeah, they're yeah, I agree. Edmonton, the Edmonton Oilers.
Edmonton should be aggressive buyers.
I agree. I mean, I don't know. Yeah, they need defense for sure. Like Ty Emberson as a legitimate pairing defenseman and Troy Stetcher, not a cup-winning defense.
And they do have cap space to work with this year. They have $5 million cap space, and they're apparently trying to offload Evander Kane.
I have heard Evander Kane. I have heard Arvidsson. I have heard Henrique as well as guys they could move on from.
You know what? I think they're trying to gear up for a big move. And you know what I think that big move is going to be? Mikko Rantanen.
Oh my God. I'll lose it. I'll actually lose it. If that's like, oh my God, it's like 3 top 10 players in the same team. Holy crap. It's unreal. Well, I mean, I guess Colorado was like that, but still.
I've also heard Jeff Skinner's name's out there, but I don't think Jeff Skinner's going to waive his no-trade clause.
Yeah, I think that's rather unlikely. He is on pace to make the playoffs for the first time ever in his career, so he is not trying to...
I am staying!
He is staying. He ain't getting moved unless if, the others end up waiving him or something. But yeah, the Oilers should be aggressive buyers. How do you feel, though, about Stan Bowman coming out and saying a goalie is not the number one thing that Edmonton...
That's got to be a smokescreen. That's got to be a smokescreen.
I don't know
about Edmonton, though. They have no first-round pick this year.
No.
Pretty sure Philly has it.
It is. We do have it. Yeah, so they'll probably win the cup.
Going back to Skinner, though, that's got to be a smokescreen.
Has to be. There is no... they don't even have... there is no chance in hell that they... You can't sit here and say that you're going to run with Skinner again. How?
I'll say this: Skinner, like in the playoffs, Skinner was serviceable. He was good at times, but he was also bad at times. In the Vancouver series, I remember they put Jack Campbell in the net.
Yeah, like they're lucky they came out alive in that series. Vancouver should have beat them, and Skinner played well the rest of the way. He's too inconsistent for me. Even at this stage, I just don't think he's a consistent enough goaltender to win a team a Stanley Cup. And maybe he can get there next year and this and that, but I don't know if I can see it. I feel like you need another serviceable option in there, a guy you can trust. But again, I will say this for Bowman, who are you really going to go out there and get, to be fair?
Yeah.
Like, I hear Gibson's name so much, but with Gibson, when's the last time he's played meaningful hockey?
It's been a while.
Yeah, almost 10 years. So, well, not almost 10, like 6 or 7 years, but still, like, it's been a long time.
Maybe they bring in a guy, like, I think he's back now, but maybe they could go for a guy, maybe like Freddie Anderson from Carolina.
Maybe, but I think Carolina, I think they would want to keep Anderson, at least for this run. I think you would have to give up a lot for him. But, yeah, that's at least what we've been hearing, or what I've been hearing at the very least. Next up, Florida Panthers. Florida, I mean, can I put them in aggressive if they've already made a move?
Yes, listen, you got Seth Jones. That's pretty aggressive.
Yeah, okay. I was going to say, like, moving forward, I don't think they're going to make, like, another huge move. They might, but I think the Jones one was probably their biggest move.
Even after the Jones trade, they have 8.7 in cap space because of Chuck's injury.
Oh, then slam them up there on aggressive buyers. They could go out and get Mikko Rantanen.
Here's the thing, though. You don't have enough assets.
Yeah. So that's the other thing you got to point out for sure. But
like Florida doesn't pick this year until the 4th round. Their next year they have 2 picks in the first 4 rounds. And 2027 is up for grabs. You got everything.
It's looking like they're gonna have to. It's looking like they might have to give up like prospects, and they don't even have a lot of that either. Like a guy like Mackie Samoskevich is like their
I don't see them trading Samoskevich unless it's a big move.
Yeah, that's the other thing. So I honestly can't tell you what the Panthers are gonna do. I mean, I don't really know if they need to do anything. I definitely think you would want another guy, but we always say it, Bill Zito finds a way. So
Bill Zito is one of the most aggressive general managers I think I've ever encountered or seen in the league. So you think they're done? I don't think they're done.
Me neither, honestly. LA Kings, what do you got?
LA. You got to put them in buyer.
I think they might be a sneaky.
They might do them I've seen so many names out there for LA. I've seen names from their side. I've seen names outside too. They got 4.1 in cap at this deadline. They have assets though.
This is a huge deadline for Rob Blake.
Here's the thing. Do you really want to go into the first round against Edmonton again?
They would play Edmonton right now. So, no, I don't think you do. If they are going to, you need scoring. You need a guy who can score because this team just can't score. Simple as that. I mean, they have guys who can score, but they need more. They need more players like that. I wonder if Mikko Rantanen could go there.
I could see your young guys getting moved out. I see guys like Alex Laferriere maybe being up for grabs. Alex Turcotte, Akil Thomas.
Like, seriously, like, how many more years do you have of Kopitar? Like, maybe we're coming up on the brink.
We're coming up on like 2. You got like 2-3 years left.
Yeah, most likely, maybe even less than that. So you need to make a big move, and I think his job's on the line. If he loses to Edmonton again, I think Blake might get fired.
Yeah, no. Here's the thing. Yeah, 4 years in a row. I want to point this out. Every year they've lost Edmonton in shorter amounts of games.
I get it. The Oilers are a good team. Is it fair that you're playing the same team 3? It'll be 4 years in a row. No, but it's the way the divisions work.
Yes. And ask Toronto how it's worked out for them.
Yeah, Toronto's played Boston like 4 times in the last
5
how
years.
long?
Like if that's
Yeah.
6 years, yeah.
So I think gotta go all out. You gotta go
I
all
could
out.
put the Kings I want to say it's halfway through aggressive, halfway through buyer because they have assets to give away, but are they going to do it?
Yeah, because I think like what they have done since they've come out of this like mini rebuild that they went into, where they have the same core that they had, just a few younger players. Like first round exits every year. Like I don't I think like to give the fans more trust and to show that things are progressing along. I think you need to like make more progress in the playoffs, and you need to make a big move. You can't just be like, oh, we're running the same core again into the playoffs.
I think Dylan has told me, my brother is a Kings fan, on multiple occasions that they need to make a big move. And I think if they don't make a big move, or if they play Edmonton again, he's gonna spontaneously combust.
Yeah. So again, like I think that they gotta do something. Something's got to give there with the Minnesota Wild or with the LA Kings. Next up, though, the Minnesota Wild. For the Wild, I think that they could. They don't have a lot of assets. That's the problem.
You got $7.5 million in cap space. You don't have your first round pick this year because you already used it on David Juracek, who is still in the minors, by the way.
Yeah, I think you gotta at least try and I haven't heard much on them though. Besides like Nyquist, I think they just simply buy. They don't make.
Yeah, I think they're buyers. They're not aggressive buyers though.
Yeah, I haven't heard anything about how they're gonna have aggressive. They're gonna go all out and go get somebody big. I could see it because maybe Kaprizov's out to the playoffs, and then oh my God, you have Kaprizov and Rantanen or something like that. I'm gonna use Rantanen every time. Or like a Brock Besser type. But yeah, I think that for the Wild, they're not going to aggressively buy. If they had their first round pick and they didn't make that Juracek deal that I'm like,
they
slam them
do
by.
have some good prospects, though.
They do. They have Danil Yurov, who has not yet signed with the Wild. Has been in the KHL the last couple of years.
Liam Ogren.
Liam Ogren. They have Zeev Buyam. A couple of guys I don't think they're going to give up.
Yeah, Marat Kuzin. Yeah.
So again, like I think there's a few options they have there for sure, but I don't know. Overall, we'll have to see.
I have a theory though. If they really want to go all out, you know what chip they could bring to the table?
Who?
Jesper Wallstedt.
Yeah.
Because they have Gustafsson right now. He's 26 and he's playing like lights out.
Well, LeBlanc, here's the problem though. Have you seen Gustafsson's numbers in the AHL?
You mean Wallstedt's? I have seen Wallsted's numbers in the AHL. They're not pretty. They're not pretty.
No. Even in the NHL this year, he's 0-2, 4.09 goals against. His numbers have slowly kind of decreased since he was drafted as well. Not looking great. Not looking great. But again, it's also like his third season in the pros too.
Yeah,
so that's pretty wild. Like if it was his first year and he's putting up numbers like that, I'd be like, all right, understandable. But
yeah, just third year pro hockey. I think he might just need a change of scenery.
That might be what it is. I mean, are the Iowa Wild like that good though? Either
I don't know.
About to find out. Anyways, next up is Montreal. I'll let you take the lead with that one.
Oh yes, of course, the team that everybody thinks I am a secret closet fan of. Anyway, I want to say Montreal is 3 points out of a playoff spot right now.
They are.
Montreal has 6.6 in cap space. Montreal is selling, though.
Ooh, yeah.
They're selling, or they're going to... We'll put them in mostly stand pat, because I feel like they're going to trade Jake Evans, but that's weird. They could get rid of Armia and maybe Savard, but...
All I've heard is Evans, essentially. All I've heard is Jake Evans. You're not going to get a lot for him at that.
You're probably going to get, like, at most, maybe a late second.
Yeah, maybe a late second round pick. I think Evans is a good fourth line guy, but I mean, if you traded him at the peak of how he was playing, I think you could have gotten more for him. But overall, from that month and a half where he was playing really well and shooting at a high shooting percentage, just hasn't been what we were expecting. Well, I mean, he's been what I've expected, but he hasn't been like what he was at that stretch. So, yeah, I mean, Montreal's right there. I think if you're Ken Hughes, you're like, hey, just ride it out. Let's see how you guys can do. We got Demidov coming next year. Just ride it out.
Yeah, I feel like Evans is going to be traded, but that's really about it.
Yeah, I've also heard, though, Montreal's not afraid to keep him. They have no problem with keeping him.
Here's my thing. If you're going to keep him, but you're just keeping another young guy out of the lineup.
That is true. Well, I don't know. We'll have to see there with the Canadians. But
here's the thing, though. Montreal, if they were to buy, they have assets galore. They have 7 picks in the first 3 rounds this year.
Yeah, they have a ton of draft capital that they could move on from. I just don't know if it's worth it. I mean, I actually could see them buying and getting like a really young piece.
Why do I feel like this could be a team that maybe Dylan Cousins might be going to?
I've heard that so much.
Have you?
Yeah, I've heard that so much, especially from Habs fans, about how that could happen. I could see it. I don't think Buffalo moves on from Dylan Cousins that fast, though. I don't see it. I don't see that. I just can't. I don't think they would. About it. Nashville, the Predators. I think you should be fire sailing.
Yeah. Come on down. No money down.
If you really want to kickstart a rebuild, I don't know. Like if you want to convince the fans, like Barry Trotz, the signings that he made weren't great, but he could really kickstart.
Were they though?
Guys, what?
The signings, were they good though?
Oh, I meant bad signings. Did I say good? I meant good. My bad.
I heard were they?
No, they were not good. I was gonna say did I say they were bad? But yeah, I think you could if you trade away O'Reilly, if you can I think you can move it. You can move Marchessault. I think they only have, although they do have 3 retention slots, so they can't really retain anymore. But
they can't retain anybody, I don't think.
Oh, that might not. That put them in a bad advantage. But again, I think if you can move O'Reilly probably for that money. If you wanted to, if you really wanted to, you could move Roman Josi, and you could really kickstart a good rebuild here. But I really don't know. I think they should be aggressive sellers. Actually, I'm kind of retracting that. I think I'm going to put them in sellers. I
think they should be fire sale because I see guys like O'Reilly getting moved. Nyquist already got moved.
They said with O'Reilly that we're going to treat him like real, and we're not gonna give him up unless if we get a really good offer or somewhere.
Trotz also said, "quote If you don't want to be here, I will move you."
Oh crap, that is true. I'll put him back in fire sale. Yeah. I forgot about that. I'm looking at their depth chart. They have so many guys though. They have 10 defensemen on the NHL roster right now.
How?
It's wild. I can read them off. It's actually insane. Roman Josi, Brady Shea, Luke Shen, Jeremy Lazone, Justin Barron, Andreas Anglund, Spencer Stastny, Nick Blackenberg, Adam Wilsley, and Mark Delgazzo. They have 15 forwards too. How do you have this many players?
I do want to mention that Nashville right now at the at deadline cap space they got $30 million.
Yeah, so.
They need to if they're going to trade, if they are going to do a big fire sale, if they're going to trade Marchessault, maybe I know probably not Stamkos, but they got to make sure they're not reaching the floor.
Yeah, that too. I mean, you're going to be trading a lot of those guys. I don't think I don't think you move Stamkos.
I don't think you can move Stamkos.
He's been terrible this year.
I really think he's just been disconnected from the entire team. I really think as much as I hate to say it, Stamkos, this might have been the worst move he could have done.
I agree. To be honest with you, it has not worked out in Nashville. It seems like he just seems in a different world. He has struggled mightily. He was the one who had the own goal against the Islanders.
Yeah.
So
I could see. I don't want to say that he's a buyout candidate, but he might be a trade candidate in the offseason.
I wouldn't say that for Stamkos.
Yeah, I don't think it. I don't know. We'll see. I'll be honest. Steven Stamkos did not sign up for this though.
No, he did not. He thought this was going to be a different thing. If you were to buy out Stamkos, I mean, if you are going into a rebuild, it's not that bad. but I don't know. That probably go down as one of the worst signings in NHL history.
Yeah.
To be honest,
Nashville's going to have cap this offseason though, so they could buy their way out of this, or they could.
They're going to buy all the other free agents, and then they're going to have to go
buy their way out of this, or they could just turn rebuild.
Yeah, so you have plenty of options there. What about the Devils? We went into them a little bit. What do you think about them?
I feel like they're going to buy.
I haven't heard a lot about them though.
There hasn't been a lot, but I feel like I don't see a world where they don't buy.
Me neither. I'm not saying that they're not going to do anything, but I haven't heard anything that's like aggressive. I think Fitzgerald's like, yeah, we'll get like a solid piece, but we're not going to go out and get a huge name guy.
I do want to mention that like the market this year for players is weak.
It is. I think, well, the two big guys that we thought were going to get traded or that we were on the market for got traded like a month ago. So I can't believe that was a month ago. But yeah, it seems like we are kind of running out of names here of players who could get moved on from. But hey, we've seen before that there definitely are still players on the market that could still get traded, even though if we don't think they're going to.
We've seen GMs get really GMs get really creative when they're down to the wire. They get really creative.
Yeah, 100%. New York Islanders.
Jersey though, real quick, they have at the deadline they're gonna have like $2.5 million in cap space.
Yeah, so they're not gonna have a ton. Do they have a first round pick?
No.
Oh, they gave it to Calgary.
That's Calgary's now.
Calgary have?
They have 3 seconds though.
Yeah, so they do have some assets they can move, for sure. Islanders, I think you gotta sell. I don't think you're gonna.
You should be selling for the Islanders.
I don't think you're gonna fire sale it, but you should sell. You should trade Nelson. You're probably gonna trade Dobson, even though it doesn't make a lot of sense.
I don't think Palmieri.
Palmieri you can move. Yeah, I think Nelson's the sexiest pick though, and I think you could get a first for him. What would be so bad about this team missing the playoffs and having 2 first-round picks?
Yeah. The Islanders have about $8 million cap. If they were to buy, but yeah.
They're one of those teams. Like they're like Boston. They don't have any other teams' picks.
They don't.
I think Boston are the only teams that are like that.
I'm looking at their chart their pick chart right now. They have all their picks except for next year's 2nd and next year's 5th.
Yeah. So again, like they have all of their capital. What is so bad about them? Just trading away Nelson, trading away Palmieri, maybe for some ass. I'm not saying you fire sale. What's so bad about that? And then having 2 first in next year in this coming draft, or get a first in next year. Next year's stacked.
Yes, the Islanders also. Here's the thing of the Islanders. They keep winning.
That's the other problem. They do keep winning. They have fallen back a little bit though.
Yeah, so right now they are 5 points behind Detroit.
Yeah, so they have fallen back a little bit
with 1 game in hand.
Exactly. So
right now you're below Philadelphia.
Yeah, I think you need to sell. You have to sell.
Yeah, if you're 14th in the East, like it's time to give it up.
You gotta come on, like something's got to give seriously. And then the Rangers.
Rangers are weird to me because they're buyers and sellers. They're weird.
Yeah, they traded for Miller and then they traded away Lindgren. I'm like, I don't really know how that coordinates.
I don't understand if they're selling now.
It feels weird because now they're going to trade Riley Smith too. Like Smith's getting held out of the lineup today, and was held out yesterday.
You want to put him in sellers? You want to put him in stand pat?
They're definitely not standing pat.
Yeah. Like they're both. It's weird, which is weird. They have 15 million cap space.
I think you got to put them in buy. They traded for Miller. You got to put them in buy. I mean,
yeah, we'll put them in buy.
They're trading away negative assets. They're not trading away like good players. They're trading away negative assets, but getting back good. I don't know anymore. I would put them in buy. They got Miller. I think that's definitely a buying move, but I don't know what else they'll really do.
Yeah, they don't have a first. They have the rest of their picks. They got 2 fourths. They got 2 sixths this year. Next year, they don't have any seconds until 2028. They don't have any fourths until 2028.
Yeah, exactly. So We'll have to see.
I feel like if you're trading Riley Smith, you're trading to get cap space to do something else.
For sure. Yeah, I think that's a possibility. I think the Rangers are really trying to work the money and trying to get something else done. It'd be very surprising.
Do you know what would be the surprise move? Noah Dobbs into the Rangers.
I was thinking Migo Rantanen into the Rangers, but yeah, that'd probably be even weirder, to be honest with you. I could see it, though. Like, I mean, they want to... I feel like their blue line is like... At this point, it's like Fox and Miller, and then a bunch
Fox
of...
is injured.
Fox is injured?
Yes, he is. He's currently day-to-day of an upper body injury.
Yeah, but, like, their blue line is just so...
It's mid. Their blue line is mid.
That's so meh. Yeah, you got... Well, when it's fully healthy, you have Adam Fox and K'Andre Miller. You have Will Borgen, who was signed. He's not a bad defenseman. And then
Schneider,
you have, like...
Vakanainen, Zachary Jones...
And then DeHaan, who they just acquired.
Yeah. K'Andre Miller has not been good this year.
Yeah, so, like, it's just like it's a whole blue line of just meh, to be honest with you. So, yeah, I think, like, Rangers and bye, I guess, makes and then, in the middle of all of these teams that are alphabetical, we got Boston, for some weird reason. The Bruins, you gotta sell. I'm sick and tired of hearing that, we need to buy and this and that. Trade Frederick. I heard things about Brandon Carlo today. Maybe trade Carlo. Trade, like, Peak. I'm not saying trade Martian. I'm not saying go, like, all out. Get some assets back in return. They're like founders. They don't have any picks.
The real Bruins fans, I think they've realized that this is a lost season.
It is. And I think a lot of it lies on Bruins management. Because if Jeremy Swayman... I think a lot of it is Jeremy Swayman. Because Swayman has not been good this season.
I think next year he'll be back to his form. Just when you miss training camp, you miss a lot of the conditioning, and you're like a step behind everybody.
Yeah. So I don't like, and I think that all lies on Bruins management. And I think the fact that they are even as close as they are is insane. They don't have McAvoy. They don't have Lindholm. Lindholm's out for the year. McAvoy is out until at least the next few weeks. So I think you just have to sell. Not everyone, but sell some of them.
If the Bruins get a good enough offer for Brad Marchand, do you think they move him?
Yeah, but I think it would have to be a lot, like a lot.
And he's 37. I don't see a lot of teams. You know what would be weird if Marchand somehow went to the Oilers.
That would be weird. I can't see that though. I
don't see it either. I feel like he's their only untouchable at this deadline.
He might be the only untouchable, but we said that a lot of times, and it never ended up going that way. Let's move it over to your favorite team, the Ottawa Senators. What are you thinking about Ottawa this deadline? Here's
the thing. As much as I want Ottawa to buy, Ottawa is broke. They have no money. I'm going to read you what their cap space is right now at the deadline: $850,000.
Yeah, they don't have a lot of money.
So The only move I see them making, they can make a small move, maybe to bring in another top 6 forward. They are going to stand pat. But there's been rumors that Staios is, quote, trying to get creative and make a big move.
Yeah. So
Ottawa's going to stand pat, I feel, though.
I think you got to stand pat. I think you have to. I mean, they're like Detroit in a way where, if they had the money like Detroit did, I think they would be in Detroit's slot. But I think, for Ottawa, you're you got to stand pat. You got to stay where you are. And I think that, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. They haven't made the playoffs in a long time. I think they just want to keep this group together and go on the run, and then maybe in the offseason they make a big splash.
The only way they get money is if they somehow put Perron on LTIR.
Is Perron hurt? I thought he played last night.
He did play last night. He's fine. But I'm just saying.
I was going to say. Well, I mean, the only way... Well, you could also put Josh North in LTIR, and then, bam, you have 8.2. So.
Yeah, but I don't... He just got back. I don't see them just putting on the shelf for the year. So, Ottawa should stand pat. I would not be surprised, though, if Steve Staios does trade one of the bigger contracts.
Maybe. We'll have to see. One of the things that is looming is Ottawa does have to give up one of their firsts to the NHL. Do you think that it's this year's first, or could it be?
It should be this year's first, but knowing Anlauer, he might push it to next year, which would suck because the next year's draft is stacked.
You also don't know where you're going to be next year.
Exactly.
I think if you're the Senators, if they make the playoffs, especially, I think you should be like, yeah, take this one.
Yeah, no, that's what that's my thoughts on it too. Like,
you could absolutely
if you're a
crash and
playoff
burn
team,
next year.
fuck the pick. Like,
yeah, you could absolutely crash and burn next year.
yeah, because next year you have no second either.
Yeah, and you have to give it up then.
Mm-hmm.
Not good at all. Anyways, my Philadelphia Flyers are up next. I think the Flyers should be selling. I don't think they're like a fire sale, but they definitely should be selling. I think Scott Laughton should be moved. I think Ristolainen should be moved. Apparently, the Flyers are saying that they might keep Laughton post deadline now. I don't freaking know anymore. I think they should be selling. I think you should trade Laughton. If you can get a first for Granlund, you should get a first for Laughton. I think that Ristolainen, it's more unlikely than Laughton to get traded, let alone a first-round pick. I heard that rumor, but I doubt it. I do believe that if you are the Flyers, you should keep Risto, trade Laughton, and see if you can move any of the other guys for small, cheap. But I don't think you're fire sailing.
Yeah, I feel like Philly should be selling. I've heard it's all quiet on the Risto front.
Yeah, I haven't heard a lot. No,
I haven't heard one being kept though. That's news to me. They should be like if you could get a first for Scott Laughton, you take it and run.
Yeah, it just like really doesn't make me look forward to what's happening. But they do have seven. They have seven draft picks in the next 2 rounds of the draft. So I don't know, to be honest with you.
Philly. Yeah, they got 3. They have 7 picks in the first 2 rounds. Oh my god!
Exactly. So again, like I think that maybe you trade some of those and go big game hunting. I've heard Pettersson. I don't know if I want Pettersson though. First off, everything that I think of, it leads back to Tortorella. And me just like thinking like, if they come here, they're gonna hate Tortorella.
Pettersson would fucking hate Torts. Oh my god!
Exactly.
But here's the thing. I'll get into Pettersson when we get to Vancouver, so I'll keep my thoughts for that.
Yeah, I'll keep my thoughts for that too. But Philly's a seller. And then Pittsburgh, what do you got?
Sell.
Just sell, not fire sale?
It should be a fire sale, but it's not going to be a fire sale.
No, it's not. It's not. So,
I'm sorry, you should, I hate to say you should trade Crosby. Do you know how much you get for Crosby?
They never would.
They never would, but here's the thing. It's because, the only reason they don't do it, because first of all, Crosby cares more about his legacy than chasing another cup. He's won his cups. I think he's content with what he's got. It's also Mario Lemieux. I don't want them to break up Crosby and Malkin like they broke up me and Yager. Wah, wah. Like, that's literally all it is.
That city would burn down as well. I think that would send the city into a riot or something like that. So, yeah. What I'm thinking is I think, like, maybe a Karlsson deal happens. You're not going to get a lot for Karlsson at that. But I do think that they should try and sell at least a few of their guys.
Okay.
San Jose, I mean, they already sold on their number one guy. They got a few guys. I'll put them in sell. Why not? I don't think they do a ton.
There's not a lot of guys to trade anymore.
Yeah, I think Mario Ferraro is the number one name that I've heard, but I don't know if that's going to happen.
Yeah, I don't see. Yeah, no, it's probably the only player I can think of at this moment.
But yeah, I think they definitely should.
Yeah, we're just going to explore all options. This list real quick. San Jose, like I'm looking over their roster right now.
Like, I mean, the only other name that I can really think of is like a guy like Barclay Goodrow,
Luke Kunin,
maybe Kunin, but he's highlighted that he wants to stay. So I really think Ferraro's it, but they definitely
Nico Sturm, don't see him getting a lot. I wonder if they no, he's on IR. Yeah, we wouldn't do that.
Yeah, so we'll see. What about Seattle though?
Yeah. What about? Could you see them flip Jake Wallman to a contender?
That's next year. I think we even had that conversation.
Ferraro's next year too.
Okay, then maybe. But I haven't heard much about Wallman.
Wallman's been great for the Sharks. I did see him play the other night, and he looked fantastic.
Yeah, so he's been a great ad for San Jose.
I'm going to say
I got a second with him too, not for him, with him.
yes. Seattle. I'm going to say this, and I want to get your thoughts on it.
Okay,
Fire sale.
I agree. I don't think they should. I agree with that. Will they? Probably not.
I'm going to bring up some names, and you tell me if you think they're going to be traded.
Okay.
Oliver Bjorkstrand.
Bjorkstrand should be traded. I don't know what you could get for him, though.
Yanni Gord.
Gord, yes, I've heard that name out there on the market. I think he could get moved.
They've made Jared McCann available.
Have they?
Apparently they have.
When did you hear that?
That was like a week ago.
I heard that they were taking calls, not that he would. I heard that they got
Maybe
calls.
that's sorry.
But they said that he wasn't available.
But I heard they're listening though.
Here's the thing, though. Whenever you say a player is available, isn't available, it doesn't always mean that they aren't available.
It means they'll listen to offers.
You're not just going to be like, oh yeah, McCann's available. Whoever wants him gets him.
Yeah.
No.
Brandon Tanev.
Tanev, yes, I think he gets moved. Friedman said it today on 32 Thoughts. Like, he doesn't think that it's likely. I don't think either side wants to work out a contract, so he's either walking in free agency or getting traded.
Eli Tolvanen.
Tolvanen, maybe. He's been a good waiver pickup. He has one more year left, so I could see them keeping him around.
They're not going to trade him, but I want to propose something out there anyway, just to thicken the plot. Capo.
No, he's saying, but I think he's been a really good ad for them.
And then on the defense, I don't really see anybody.
I've heard Alexiak. That's the only name.
Yeah, but Alexiak makes 4.6 for after this year as well.
Yeah, but let's be for real. They ain't trading away.
No, Alexiak is also a fan favorite in Seattle. Which when I went to Seattle, I was very really, like
he's not bad.
He's not bad, but as a fan favorite, I'm like, really, you got Matty Beniers and Jared McCann right there.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. This team is in a state. This team's in a state of mid.
They are. I think they need to trade away all the picks they can.
I think they should trade away the general manager.
Yeah, I agree. I think we said that last episode, or we've definitely said it over the course of this pod. I think he should be fired. I think he should be. Every move he's made is bad. The Dackert signing and Kakko has been the only two good things he's done.
I can name you on one hand all the bad moves he's made.
On one hand, all the bad moves he's made.
I can do two, but we're on a time schedule. So
we are.
Stevenson, Montour,
yeah.
Grubauer. Just trying to think.
Taking the GM job.
I'm blanking now.
Yeah, look, I'm gonna say this. He hasn't made a lot of moves, but a lot of the moves he has made have been pretty bad. Like, I think there's a few that have been good. Like the signing of Jared McCann has been great. That's another one that goes unnoticed. The Matty Beniers one.
Oh, Burakovsky. Burakovsky, there we go.
That one too. The Beniers one wasn't great. What was looked fine, but Beniers has not been Beniers. He's gotten better, but still, it just has not.
Beniers isn't what they wanted. They didn't get what they drafted for.
At least not yet. I'm still holding out hope.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he hasn't been bad this year. I'm looking at it. He's going to pass what he had last year. Just can't. I mean, the team around him's not that good either.
The whole team is just not. There's certain guys on this team that I think have good potential, like Matty Beniers.
There are a few positives.
Yeah, Shane Wright's looked good this year.
Yeah.
Kakko's living up to his potential now. Ty Karche's been a little under the radar, I find.
There are some good moves they made, but the bad moves really
Here's the thing: if Ron Francis, if you're listening, you're not. But if you're listening and you're still there next year, draft a damn defenseman. Come on.
Yeah, their defensive pool is absolutely terrible. They got Riker Evans, who has been in the NHL, I think, for most of the season. Apart from that, it's a ghost town down there.
You need to draft defense in the first round. There's no come on.
If they can get Schaefer,
Oh,
imagine that.
buddy, they get Schaefer. That blue line, it takes a bump, but it's still you need to. Yeah, Seattle.
I think it's changing a lot, though.
Seattle should be a fire sale. Honestly, I would love to see. I don't say love to see, but I think Seattle should do a rebuild.
Yeah, I agree. St. Louis, the Blues. I think they are
I think they stand pat.
probably, unless if Braden Shen. Like Braden Shen's the only name that I've heard.
Yeah, I think they
But
stand pat.
they're right behind Vancouver too. Like they're right
close
there
are we
now.
talking?
They're a point back.
Oh damn!
Yeah, and Utah's a point behind them too. So, like they're right there. Like this is like this race is far from over.
I have not been paying attention to the West at all. I've been paying attention.
Yeah, I mean St. Louis is right there. They've won I think like 3 or 4 in a row. So like it's.
But St. Louis has 2 games. They don't have any games in hand on Vancouver or Calgary.
Or any of the teams that they're battling for in the race. So that is a disadvantage. But I think that they really put themselves in the race. And I think if you're smart, you likely stay pat. Or if Braden Shen, if you get what you want, you do that. But yeah. I agree. Tampa Bay.
They are buyers, in my eyes.
For sure. We went through like a shitload of sellers there. Yeah, they're definitely buyers. I don't think they make a huge move, but
yeah, they got about 5.5 in cap. Sorry, they have $6 million in cap space. Excuse me.
It's like actually like kind of wild.
They got 2 seconds to work with. They got next year's first to work with.
They could make a big move. I don't know if they do though. Like they have been great this year.
Their bottom 6 could use a guy though.
They could, yeah. I think they've been a lot better than what they were projected to be. And there's some people who are saying like they might be the best team in the East, which I don't know about that.
I don't know about that. Like
I do think though like they're the hottest team in the East, at least as of right now.
Yeah.
8 wins in a row on an unreal stretch. So yeah, I'm loving.
Yeah, I could see them maybe upgrading the blue line or the bottom 6.
Right. Yeah. Toronto.
I'll be honest here. You got to be aggressive this year.
Yeah, you do have to be aggressive though. I do agree with that. The Maple Leafs for sure gotta go all in. Unacceptable if you don't. Look into O'Reilly. Look into Shen. Look into Lawton. Fisherman.
Yeah. Here's the thing though. This might be your best chance to get out of the East.
I agree with that.
With Florida, and I hate saying that. But Florida's down Matthew Tkachuk. Take it and run.
I agree. Let's look at the Eastern Conference. Toronto's first in the division. Florida's just behind them, but still. Tampa Bay is hot. I mean, like they could beat Tampa Bay. We'll see. That'd be a close series. I don't know.
Series would be against Columbus, and let's have another Vietnam flashback right here.
Yeah, let's have another flashback to that. Like, I agree though. They do have the best chance right now to get out of the Eastern Conference because I think the only 2 teams that I'm really worried about them playing against is Tampa and Washington. Everybody else, I think they can beat them.
I don't like here. If they get out of the Atlantic bracket, then I don't have an issue with them. New Jersey, I think they would beat New Jersey. I think they would beat Carolina pretty handily. I think Washington would be a tough test though.
Yeah, Washington would be interesting. They have been insane this season. We'll see. We'll have to see there, though.
Yeah.
Utah. All right, I'll go with Utah.
For sure.
The hockey club, I think you probably stand pat. I think you're like in the same position as St. Louis. You don't trade away anybody. You don't go out and buy anybody insane. I think you stay in that spot.
Yeah, just ride the wave, honestly.
Yeah, I don't think there's any pressure on them to like make the playoffs.
If they do want to buy, which I do want to mention this, that their owner Ryan Smith is known for like making big moves. Like he's very eccentric. They have $28 million in cap space,
so they have a lot of money to work with.
They have a lot of money to work with. They have all their picks, except for their 7th. But who cares about that? They have for the 20. If they want to move their 2026 picks, they have 3 seconds and 2/3.
Yeah, they have all those picks from when they sold all those players a couple of years ago. So they have plenty of options that they can do. They have plenty of things they can.
I could see them making a small move, but not a huge move.
I keep saying they're gonna go out and make a splash in free agency.
Oh, for
They're
sure.
gonna go sign Mikko Rantanen. That's what I keep saying.
Yeah, because Ryan's supposed to be at the pitch like, yeah, like.
Yeah, I would throw a party. Seriously, if that were to happen. Okay, next up then is Vancouver. What do you got for the Canucks?
The Vancouver Canucks are in such a it's a weird position for the Canucks. I think they're going to stand pat. They might sell, they might buy. I don't know.
I think they likely stand pat.
Vancouver is in such a bad spot.
They bought Marcus Pettersson. They traded away JT Miller, so you know.
The Marcus Pettersson deal was because they had to recruit assets from the Miller deal.
Yep, 100%.
And here's the thing. Vancouver right now, if the playoffs started right now, they're on the outside. You know how bad of a look that is?
You know, I don't want to toot my own horn, but I said this in October. Or September. I asked you the question, LeBlanc, what are the odds that Vancouver pulls New Jersey?
And I drank the Kool-Aid. And I thought it wasn't going to happen.
You said it wasn't going to happen?
I thought Vancouver... I think I had Vancouver, I think I had them third in the division.
I think I did too, but I had them in the division, but I didn't rule out the possibility that, this feels like New Jersey and they could pull this. So...
And here's the thing. This all comes down to... I'm going to say this and I'm going to go on my rant. Elias Pettersson.
Yeah. Okay.
Did Bro forget how to play hockey?
He has been
He's been terrible. Making 11.5 and, apparently there's been rumors that he's been bashing, franchise legends, like the Sedins, it's not a great look. He needs to get out of there, but here's the thing. I don't think me personally, I don't want Elias Pettersson. I would not trade for him.
Yeah, if you asked me a month or two ago about Pettersson when they still had Miller, I'm like, hell yeah, I'll take Pettersson. But I believe there might be an injury there that is an issue, and that's why he's limited and just not playing well. It's really affected his play, though, if that's the case.
I also think Pettersson has a bad attitude, but I think we've seen this in the media for multiple years now, though, that Pettersson really... I want to put out of this, he has no time for other people's bullshit.
Yeah.
And we've seen this, but I feel like that's in the locker room, too, and, I don't feel like it's a healthy locker room there in Vancouver. It clearly wasn't. I think Vancouver misses the playoffs.
I'm leaning that way too. I think you move on from Brock Besser.
I think if you can honestly I think they have a couple games this week.
They do.
They're playing this week. So they're playing Anaheim on Wednesday, and that's it. And
gotta be.
And also, you're getting clapped by Seattle.
Yeah, you lost to Seattle. Didn't they lose to Buffalo a couple of days ago?
Buffalo, they lost to Seattle. Listen, teams that want to make the playoffs don't lose to Buffalo and Seattle in the same week.
You simply can't. You can't do that. You can't be.
If they lose to Anaheim at home on Wednesday, I expect them to maybe consider selling.
Yeah. I'm with you.
At least, conservatively sell. Not
Didn't we see the Devils do that?
They did. The Devils knew when the time was up. They traded to Foley to Winnipeg.
Yeah, so I don't think it's impossible. We could see Besser get moved because they were reportedly lowballing Besser, and Besser could be like, I'm
Besser
done
wants
with this.
term. He wants term.
He does.
The Canucks, if they were to buy, have $10 million in cap space.
Yeah. Who would they buy, though? That would change everything.
I don't know, West.
Exactly. Let's move on. Buffalo Sabres. I haven't heard a ton on them. I think they'll sell. I have heard that Greenway wants to stay with the team. I have heard that Jason Zucker likely is going to stay with the team.
I've heard nothing on Zucker, even though he should be a commodity for a playoff team.
Well, I heard a few months ago that, he loves Buffalo. He's had a great year there, and he's interested in staying. Actually, I don't even know if they're going to be sellers. Like, here's the thing. Kevin Adams has made it clear that they don't want draft picks. They want roster players for these players that they're going to trade away. To be honest with you, I really don't know. Like, the guys that they want to... Unless if they trade Dylan Cousins, the guys that they can move... Unless if it's Dylan Cousins or Bowen Byram, the guys that they can move aren't going to get you back an insane return. Especially like roster players. You'd be getting the equivalent of like a Jordan Greenway back in return.
Well, I look at their roster and like I see the guys I've seen rumored the most is Alex Tuck.
Yeah, I've heard Alex Tuck too, but I've also heard that they want to keep him in their plans. And all I hear is just like, oh, run it back.
It's because, first of all, Tuck is from Buffalo.
Yeah, I get that.
I think Tuck, I know Tuck, I said multiple times he wants to stay.
Exactly. So I just don't see.
But here's the thing, like they say run it back. It's not going to change anything.
No, it's not.
And Paterka apparently is on the market now, and teams should be salivating over that.
That's just so stupid. I don't get that. Paterka's been lighting it up for Buffalo.
Yeah. And Byram's on the market. I've heard whispers of Owen Power, but I doubt they move him. Yoki Haru could be a guy that maybe a team that needs a defenseman take a chance on. Yeah, Buffalo's in a weird spot where like they could sell or they could just not do anything.
They're in a terrible spot, in my opinion.
Yeah, say, we want actual players. Well, no, goodbye.
It's crazy looking back at it that we had Montreal below them. Now that I look at it now, Montreal's roster had so much more potential than Buffalo.
And like, I think on my Twitter, I think I mentioned it before the season that is it crazy to me that I think Montreal is better than Buffalo?
Oh my god, I do remember that. And I think there was a lot of people who were like, no, you're insane. There was some people who were like, wow, he's giving Montreal credit.
I know.
Ooh, breaking news. Utah has signed Oli Mata. Anyway, Vegas Golden Knights.
Vegas should be aggressive.
Yeah, aggressive buyers. I agree with that.
They have 2.4 in cap space, but this is also the Vegas Golden Knights. They do what they want.
Always make things work.
Yeah, they don't have a first until 2027. They don't have a lot of prospects, but it's the Vegas Golden Knights, and I don't count them out ever at the deadline. Because
me neither.
Remember last year they got Tomas Hertl. I'm like, what the hell?
Yeah, just randomly too. Like there was the most random signing, random trade ever. At like 3:00 as well. Like it wasn't like we didn't hear anything about it either. It's actually wild.
This came out of left field.
Yep. So yeah, Vegas I think should be aggressively buying. Yeah. The Caps, the Washington Capitals. I gotta be honest with you. Like, there's a lot of people who are saying, "Oh, buy." I'm low key think they should stand pat or like conservatively buy, but I'm gonna put them in buy. And here's why. I think the same way for Winnipeg, in a sense.
Really,
I think not all the way, but I feel it more for Washington than Winnipeg. I think this season has been such a good year for these players and this team as a whole. Why would you bring in somebody big and maybe shake everything up?
For Washington, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Here's the problem. They have too many guys. They have too many bodies. Like, they have a lot of guys who are in the minors and who are, like sitting out a lot of the games as like the 13th forward or scratched. That should be on the team.
Yeah, I have a feeling, though, that we could see a team like Washington trade guys to Buffalo because they want roster players.
I could see that for sure. Like, I mean, to be honest, they might trade some of those guys for picks. And that'll be weird to see for some of these people, but like, I really do think that is possible. Now, Washington, I could see, like, you want depth. You want as much depth as you want, as you can get. So maybe they get another better guy for their depth piece, or they get another depth defenseman or something like that. But I think right now, like, they're fine. You don't need to really like, change anything. Like, with the Jets, who are still a very good team, there's a couple things you could fix and maybe add in a little bit more. But for Washington, like, I'm not like, oh yeah, go trade for that guy. You need this, you need that. Like, they don't really need to do much.
They don't.
In my
They don't need to do much, and that's where I'm watching. It's like I said before, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But they'll bring in some guys. It might not be huge moves, but I think they'll make little moves to get their depth up.
Yeah, exactly.
Winnipeg, though, I have a different opinion than you. Listen, Winnipeg, it's what I've been hearing. It's time
It's time
to aggressively buy.
for me. I agree with that in a way, but I also don't think like you should get a big guy and shake everything up. But I do get what you're saying.
Here's the thing with Winnipeg. We've heard rumors that they are going to aggressively buy, so that's why they're up there for me. They have $12.4 million in cap space.
That amount of cap space, and they're that good, isn't like actually.
And
wild.
they have their first, third, fifth, and sixth, and seventh for this year. They have the first, second, and third for next year. You also have an abundance of prospects.
Yeah.
The Jets have a very good prospect pool. They could trade some of those guys. Some of those guys, they're not going to need them.
Yep, absolutely.
Winnipeg, especially because if the playoffs started today, Winnipeg would be playing Calgary, and I don't want to say look at the past 2 years in the playoffs where they have Hellebuyck's been off his game, they haven't been able to get past the first round. For Winnipeg, I think you need to go all in this year.
I agree. You need to just go all the way. Get a defenseman, get another second line guy. What I was saying, like with Washington, I kind of do feel it about Winnipeg a little bit, but I get why they do really want to go in and aggressively buy. Mm-hmm. But I think the thing that's different with Washington that is different with Winnipeg is that Winnipeg doesn't have as many bodies as Washington does. I think that's another factor. Next up then, speaking of Calgary, we roll over to Calgary again, a weird-ass order that we did. We're almost done. Flames, I think you likely stand pat. You don't you don't sell, you don't buy, you're in a playoff spot.
You're shooting Carlo, though. I heard that today.
Yeah, but I think, like, maybe, but I haven't heard anything that's like, oh, they're going to go out and make an insane move or buy. I
would be very surprised to see, like, what if they sell?
They've already made it clear that they're going to keep Anderson and Uyghur.
Okay.
So I doubt they would sell. Maybe, like, if they're in Vancouver's position, then I think, yes, you sell.
Week's not over.
The week is not over, you're right. But I do think that they see where they are right now. They see that they're not playing bad either. Like, they're decent. I could see it, but like judging from what I've heard, I have not heard anything that says they're gonna buy or sell. It seems like they're gonna mostly stay pat. At least for me.
Yeah. Calgary. I think Calgary might make a small move, but I don't see them making a big move.
Right. All right. This is one of the most. This is probably one of the biggest ones. The Carolina Hurricanes. Mikko Rantanen is really a big question there on the market. He might get traded. LeBlanc, what is your position on the Hurricanes?
I don't think he'll get traded. I think they'll just, if he walks, he walks. I think they might do what they did with Jake Gensel. If he's not going to sign, you trade his rights away. You need him for a playoff run.
I agree with that.
But if they get an offer they can't refuse, take it.
I agree. You got to explore all your options for sure. I believe that.
But here's the thing with Carolina: you think Ottawa has no cap space? Carolina has no cap space.
Yeah, Carolina's in that same spot.
Carolina has $499,000.
Yeah, they don't have a lot of money,
but they have a first. They do. They still have their first. They could maybe move a body out that makes too much money.
Yeah,
but
they have options. They have things that they can do, but I really don't know. It's a matter of, are they gonna? It's a matter of like, do they want to give up all those future assets they have? Because they still have a decent pool of guys. Where do you think they stand, though? I don't know if you've said it.
But do you want to put them?
They are one of the more like compelling teams.
I feel like they could buy, but how? The only way I see them buying is if somehow, some way, they dump Dmitry Orlov's contract on somebody.
I'll put them in buy.
I want to say stand pat because they have no money though.
Well, I've heard Rantanen's name just so much. Like I think it's starting to become more and more of a reality.
Okay.
I mean, it's your opinion. You can put them in.
We'll put them in buy. Like I don't see a world where they don't buy. They're gonna do something to get cap space.
Right. Yeah, I agree. Chicago, you sell. You can't really sell a lot. You already traded Jones.
Ryan Donato.
Sell. Yeah, Ryan Donato's the only other name that I know. That's about it, though. Like everybody else is just.
Yeah, I'm looking at them right now. Like you're not gonna sell any of the guys you just acquired.
Yeah. Nope.
After I don't see that. I don't think any teams have interest in him. I heard Philip Kurashev's name out there though.
Maybe, but I haven't heard a lot on that, at least recently.
Yeah, Donato, Pat Maroon might be a good ad for a playoff team.
Maybe for like a 7th round pick, I think is what we saw him get traded for.
They said they would. I heard they would trade Reichel in the right move.
I don't know.
I don't know either. Craig Smith, like I said, these are all guys that could be like low buys for playoff teams.
Yeah, but I think like Donato's their sexiest name. Apart from that, there isn't a lot.
Yeah, there isn't a lot. These are names that are like down. You would trade maybe a 5th or a 6th for them. Like,
yeah, not a lot. Like it's just like late capital.
Yeah, but yeah, you could sell. I don't think they're a fire sale by any means.
Yeah, you could use that to move up in the draft.
Exactly.
So, Colorado, I think you buy.
Colorado's a buyer.
Yeah.
They have 3.2 in cap space right now. They don't have a first-round pick.
They damn near got Miller. I'm surprised that didn't go through.
Mm-hmm.
Miller's stupid for that.
I know.
The Rangers might not even make the playoffs, and here they are. Like, actually insane.
I think Miller and McKinnon would not have gotten along.
Oh, definitely not. Just with the way that they're both are. They're too polarizing. Like
they're two
like,
alphas.
Yeah. Yeah, that's definitely not gonna work. Your last one, Columbus.
Ooh. Here's the thing about Columbus.
Oh boy.
I'm gonna tell you how much cap space they have. At the deadline. They have $86 million in cap space.
Do they actually?
Yes.
Are you looking at the right thing?
It says deadline cap space.
Holy shit, dude. That's insane.
It's because of, what happened with Johnny Gaudreau, rest in peace.
Yeah. Yeah.
So here's the thing. They could use this. They have, if they're going to buy, which I think they should be buyers.
I agree. I think you should be buying. You could use it. Well,
you get 2 firsts.
Don Waddell said they're going to be buyers. I think you should put them in buyers. What do you think, though?
Yeah, you got 2 firsts, a third, 2 fourths. And the following year, you got 2 more thirds and 3 more fourths. So you could do a lot.
As we said, though, I don't think they're going to give up like insane assets.
That's a team that could afford Mikko Rantanen.
They could. So I wonder if that's really something we see happen. I don't know.
And last but not least,
the Dallas Stars. I think they should I think they should be in aggressively. Honestly,
4.5. They should be aggressively buying. They don't have a lot of assets though.
Yeah, but I think you make it work any way you can. Honestly, I think they should be aggressively buying. I don't care if you don't have assets. You already bought in on Granlund and CC.
Yeah.
Go out, try and get another defenseman.
Yeah, just get it done. Like, honestly.
Work your ass off because you've been to the conference finals 2 years in a row. This is your last chance to give Jamie Benn a cup, probably, because I think we might see them move on from him. And again, we saw today that Wyatt Johnston apparently was offered an 8x8, which if that ends up signing, that's insane. But I don't know if he's going to take that. We will see. But yeah, that is our trade deadline tier list. Let's go through Let's go through every tier. First off, LeBlanc, any changes you want to make off the dot?
Do you want to move the Sens into buyers or no?
The Sens into buyers?
Yeah, I'm just thinking.
You said they didn't have money, though. That's
They don't, but Carolina doesn't have money either. money.
Carolina also got Mikko Rantanen, though.
Yeah, that's true. All right, we'll keep him in Stampat and we'll keep him in Stampat.
Yeah. I mean, Tulsky also said he's like, we're not going to stop until we have every top 15 player on our team. So.
Yeah, I think this is our final list.
Yeah. All right, let's go through it. Aggressive buyers: Edmonton Oilers, Florida Panthers, Toronto Maple Leafs, Vegas Golden Knights, Winnipeg Jets, and Dallas Stars. Your buyers, teams that are like, they're not aggressively buying, but they are still probably going to buy: Detroit Red Wings, LA Kings, Minnesota Wild, New Jersey Devils, New York Rangers, Tampa Bay Lightning, Washington Capitals, Carolina Hurricanes, Colorado Avalanche, and Columbus Blue Jackets. Mostly stand pat teams that are going to stay where they are: Montreal Canadiens, Ottawa Senators, St. Louis Blues, Utah Hockey Club, Vancouver Canucks, and Calgary Flames. Teams that are selling: Anaheim Ducks, New York Islanders, Boston Bruins, Philadelphia Flyers, Pittsburgh Penguins, San Jose Sharks, Buffalo Sabres, and Chicago Blackhawks. And then teams that are in fire sale, or we think will fire sale, are the Nashville Predators and the Seattle Kraken. So, yeah, that is our tier list. That is our trade deadline preview. LeBlanc, any more thoughts on this trade deadline?
I hope it's a good one. I really hope it is a good one, because I remember since I was a teenager, every year I've taken the day off to just sit on the couch and watch a trade deadline show. That's all I've done it the past 10 years, and I remember some years where it was just a dud.
Yeah, even last year was or not last year, the year before. I remember all the players were traded 2 weeks in prior, they were spread out over the course of a couple of days, and then deadline day was just dry.
Yeah, or the COVID deadline was pretty bad too.
That was pretty bad, but it was the COVID deadline, so I'm not, to be fair.
Yeah.
But yeah, that is it for this episode of the MVP. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. We will be back with you next week for our trade deadline review. Maybe we'll record sooner if something big happens. We'll see. Let me know your thoughts down below. Thank you guys for watching. We appreciate it. Subscribe on the YouTube channel. Follow on the Instagram at NordBlockPod. Listen on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. And that does it for us. We will see you in the next episode.
Ciao.
I just do what I do. See me? I just do what I do. Man, I just do what I do. To know about you, I just do what I do. Check. That's the intro. See that? Yeah. I just do what I do. See me? I just do what I do. Yo, check. Let me flip this script. I feel privileged for all who can witness this. I am close to divine. Know the moment is mine, need no omen or sign. I'm sprint. Providing a back sound to all the squares that ask around. We getting it. My skills pay me. Trying to get a million, baby, with an adopted flow that God gave me. Tell whoever runners that they spot is temporary till I take it, it's mine. I'm selfish. Your will. Tell Miss I'm on my wealth tip. So when we cash out soon, I'm just investing. Hey, no yes men. I've been a legend since before mom and dad had me and was best friends. I chew through comp, don't test them. I chew on tracks, cause after that I bless them. I just do what I do.